Let me go across to Vinny Ajmera first, because the cabin crew haven't spoken officially, but from what we've gathered from sources within the airline is that now, because of the fact that the management is more stringent about not allowing for upgrades, etc., the cabin crew feel that they didn't have the right to upgrade this woman. There was no other seat available in business class, and therefore they had nowhere else to seat her. They seated her on the cabin crew seat. To me, that sounds shocking and quite pathetic. Where do you think the cabin crew really went wrong? What should they have done? What did they not do?
So, Rahul, thank you. Thank you for having me on your discussion today. I think the first thing is I'm very confused if there was a line of command, if there was any briefing done before the flight. So it appears like every person was, every team was operating in isolation. So if the cabin crew was confused about how to approach a situation, I'm a little surprised that they didn't ask the pilots. If the pilots were confused, they would have obviously got in touch with the ground authorities. I don't know where the chain of command was to begin with. Now, clearly problem solving has not been something that they have been trained on. And I don't think the excuse that we could not upgrade or downgrade a passenger who has obviously gone through this ordeal. I think somewhere, I'm not sure if the discourse has changed or if the way the cabin crew have been trained has changed, but they perhaps need to know what is the authority and the reasons they are put on board. Are they just there to serve passengers, or are they there to take care of the safety first? So I think somewhere that's gone missing. Clearly, it's a part of laziness as well. I don't think the fact that it was addressed a month later, it's shocking. I think the passenger should have been met with the ground authorities on landing. So that bit, I don't know if they were worried about writing a simple flight report about taking this matter up. I don't think it can be left to a cabin crew's discretion, because there is no gray here. There's a clear black and white, and
So that's important, because you're talking about the lack of command, which is my understanding, Captain Ranganathan, is that inside an aircraft, it's the captain who's in charge. And if the crew have just witnessed such an instance, instead of trying to brush it under the carpet, instead of putting some kind of a cloth on top of the seat where this man has urinated, you say, ma'am, we're very sorry for what happened. Please come here and sit. It's first class. We'll upgrade you. We're really sorry about this. And we will then, the moment the flight lands, take action against the unruly passenger. Instead, they make her sit on the crew people's seat. Now, is that not complete dereliction of duty also on the part of the captain of this flight?
See, Rahul, I have to do some plain talking here. The other lady was talking about chain of command. Now, when this thing happened, the protocol requires that the cabin crew inform the captain. And if they have informed the captain, and the captain has the ACAS to inform the company, send a message directly what has happened, and the ground staff should have been prepared to have the security arrest the guy as soon as they landed. So that is one. And what people forget is that there were 4 pilots, because this is a long haul flight. You have the operating crew and the cruise captain. So to say that none of them were aware, it's a joke. And there were 20 cabin crew, 10 operating cabin crew and the deadheading or the cruise cabin crew. So it is a total failure on their part not to act. Now, if I was a captain, I would have stepped out, spoken to the lady. Yes, the rules, they may have rules which says do not upgrade without the CMD's permission or anyone in authority. But this is not a normal situation where...
Absolutely.
It's not a normal situation where the captain should have taken the responsibility and upgraded her to first class when first class seats were available. That is one. I belong to an old school where when we do a check for a captain, it is not just his ability to take off and land smoothly and take care of engine failures. It is also how he conducts himself as a captain, takes care of the cabin crew as well as the passengers. So one of the things that even when I was checked out for command, the first thing that an examiner says when you check out a guy, would you trust him to send your family with him? You sign out a guy as a captain when you can trust him to take your family. Now, I want to ask Mr. Sindhya and Mr. Chandrasekhar and the DGCA if that lady was their mother or sister.
Correct.
They have brushed it aside like this. You know, I think they should, the airline has failed miserably in this case, and trying to brush it off as in a 30-day no-fly action, and they thought it was a customer problem and not a safety issue. I think that's a joke. Air India has to pull its socks up